The first chapter closes with Arjuna overwhelmed with emotion, indecisiveness, and a lot of mental clutter. In part arising from the body and in part accumulated from social conditioning. Arjuna keeps his arms aside and declares, "I won't fight." Thus opens the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Sanjay says, so, addressing Dhritarashtra, Madhusudan, Krishna, spoke these words to Arjuna, who was overwhelmed with pity and sorrow, and whose eyes were obfuscated with tears. That's the condition of the one Sri Krishna is now going to address. A mighty warrior overtaken by grief and whose eyes denoting wisdom, are dimmed by tears denoting emotion. So wisdom is now cloaking, or wisdom is now being cloaked by, shrouded by emotion. That's Arjuna's condition. And these are the first words. Krishna says, in this moment of crisis, in this Visham moment and situation, from where have you allowed this unmanly, ignoble, anarya weakness to come upon you? And O Arjuna, this sorrow is so unlike what befits a true Aryan. Arya means a superior person. It need not necessarily be taken in racial or ethnic terms. Arya denotes someone worthy of respect. So from where and how come you have allowed this anarya weakness to possess you, which is disgraceful and also an impediment in obtaining heaven. So, first thing, as is evident, Sri Krishna is appealing to Arjuna right at the point he is standing. He sees that Arjuna is in a strong grip of emotionality that's causing him to decide in a particular way at this moment, and is thinking a lot about the future. Do you remember all that Arjuna had said in defense of his position? If we all fall, if all the Kshatriyas are gone, what will happen in the future? And endlessly he had gone on to project the future. Do you remember? So that's where Arjuna's mind is currently situated, in the future. As Arjuna is presently, he is in the grip of emotion. That has to be addressed. And continuously he is thinking of the future. So that has to be addressed. So Krishna's opening remarks come addressing both of these points. Because Arjuna is displaying emotional weakness, so Krishna tells him this is very un-Aryan. This is not how a strong, superior, brave, capable, worthy man behaves. And because Arjuna is thinking of what will happen as a consequence of the war, all the men will die, all the women will go corrupt, and then illegitimate offsprings will be born. And then, further into the future, the departed souls of the ancestors will not gain peace because the tributes offered by illegitimate sons are not accepted as per the law and the rituals. So more and more, further and further, deeper and deeper into the future is Arjuna wandering. And he is going to the other worlds. He is talking of the departed souls and how they would suffer, how they would continue to roam thirsty and hungry because the food and water that is ritually offered to them, there is the Shad ritual, will become unacceptable. So Arjuna is wondering not only about the future in this world, but also about the future of the ancestors in the other world. And that's one characteristic of the delirious mind. It starts projecting too much. It starts imagining too much. And it starts taking its imaginations as reality. Not only does it take its imaginations as reality, it reacts to them as if they were real. Think of someone who imagines a tiger standing in front of him and reacts with panic. That's what happens with people who do not know the nature of the projector and the projected experience. That is why a serious study of non-duality is so important. Otherwise, one starts taking the world too seriously. This world and the imagined world. This world that we call as the world of objects, things, facts. One starts taking this one too seriously, and worse still, one starts taking the imagined world very seriously. Arjuna, as you see, is guilty on both accounts. He is taking all these people standing in front of him very seriously, and that's the reason why Krishna, immediately after this one, will say that, Arjuna, you are mourning for those who deserve no sympathy. You are giving them far more consideration than what they are worthy of. And Arjuna is giving his own imaginations a lot of importance. So Krishna counters imagination with imagination. He says, the behavior that you are displaying will disqualify you from heaven. You are talking of what will happen to the souls of the ancestors roaming about in the other worlds. You think what will happen to you, because you too have to go to the other world. You keep displaying such weakness, such un-Aryan behavior, and soon you will be declared ineligible for Swarg. Now Krishna very well knows there is nothing in this Swarg Nark thing. But that's the beauty of the Gita. The teacher not announcing the highest truths from the skies, but very practically, very compassionately coming down to where the student is. And the student right now is dwelling in abysses and dark caves and all kinds of places of ignorance and sorrow. Places where there is no light. Places that are so deeply, so primitively hidden from the truth that no light can directly reach them. Even if the sun shines brightly, strongly overhead, how will its light reach an underground cave? So even if Krishna shines the highest kind of knowledge on Arjuna at this moment, it won't be beneficial. Because Arjuna is right now located in some deep, dark cave of the unconscious. Krishna can shine as brightly as possible. It won't help Arjuna. So Krishna says, fine, no more of the sun business. I have to descend. And that's the whole meaning of avatar, is it not? No point the Brahma thing, whatever it is, remaining inaccessible, unspeakable, unthinkable, untouchable, unimaginable, inconceivable. No point. No point for the one who lives only in imaginations, thoughts, conceptions, names, forms. And up there, up above and beyond, lies the transcendental truth, transcending all the mortals who need it the most. What is the point? I am the one suffering in falseness, right? I am the one who desperately needs the truth. And the truth transcends me. And I am told the truth is beyond me. And I am told my hands, my arms are just too small to reach out and touch, let alone grip it. I am told my little eyes are just too feeble. And my mind too weak. From some vantage point, that's like telling the patient, the medicine is too big and too much and too costly and too unaffordable and unimaginable for you. Glory is to the medicine. It is transcendental. Yes, the medicine is indeed great then, but the patient will die. Glory is to the medicine. The medicine that the patient cannot even think of, dream of, touch of. Forget about affording the medicine. The patient cannot even talk of it. That kind of transcendental medicine. So the patient will say, the medicine is great. I bow down. I salute the medicine. But please give me something that is a little less of the skies. That is a little less transcendental. Give me something that can be touched and used and ingested and metabolized. Something that matches the level of my absorption. Are you getting it? Time and again in the Bhagavad Gita you will find Sri Krishna's compassion in full display. If you are careful, you will note how he is a very attentive listener. He is looking at Arjuna. He is very mindfully listening to each word Arjuna is uttering. And from that attention, which cannot come without compassion, arise all of Krishna's responses. This one as well. The verse that we have at hand. Are you getting it? So Arjun, you will miss out on heaven. What are you doing? If heaven is something you take to be real, then why should you miss out on the real heaven? Fantastic, is it not? Heaven is something you take to be real. You take heaven and hell and the various worlds, the 1,000 lokas, to be so real that you are quoting the roaming souls of all the ancestors as a valid reason to not to fight. If you have such great belief in the afterlife, then please do take care of your own afterlife first. No? And the ancestors will be mighty displeased if the greatest in their pedigree fails to ascend to heaven. Arjuna is the best in the line, right? And if he misses out on Swarg, the ancestors will be very unhappy. Probably more unhappy than if they were to accept water from a Varnasankar. Huh? Arjun, think of it. What would displease them more? A Varnasankar in their lineage? Take the Varnasankar as someone unworthy. An unworthy one in their lineage? Is that the most displeasing news? Or the worthiest one in their lineage disqualified from heaven? Now that creates a doubt. And that is meant to create a doubt in Arjun's mind. First thing is, dislodge the student from his point of falseness. Confuse him. What does confusion mean? The student stands self-assured, confident, at the chosen point of his ego. He says, this is my home. This is where I rest. This is the point I'm very strongly tethered to. This is my position. Now, he cannot be immediately picked up and kept at the point of truth. The student is not an inanimate object. The student, unfortunately, has some free will. Correct? You cannot just pick up the student and place him at the truth. Not possible. You have to coax the student. You have to gently coerce him, educate him. Sometimes you have to confuse him. Sometimes you even have to seduce him. All is okay. All is okay. What is not okay is means that do not work. What is not okay is knowledge that is ineffective. And that's what Jnana Yoga has been accused of since centuries. It is great, but it does not work. And that will happen if the Jnani is a hollow Jnani. If the Jnani does not operate from compassion, love. That's why I continuously say, the paths of knowledge and love are one. The path of knowledge devoid of love just gets lost in some arid desert. No softness, no moisture, no quenching of the inner thirst, just dryness. And a lot of Jnanis are actually like that, no? And the path of love without knowledge remains nothing more than animalistic emotionality. Emotionality that you call as love. Love without knowledge is blind. Knowledge without love is dry and dead. And neither of them is real without the other. So a jnani, a loveless jnani, is no jnani at all. And a premi or bhakt, having no understanding, no realization, no attention, is no premi at all. These two paths have to see their underlying unity. Since long we have been saying that these paths converge, but that is not sufficient, please. We say that ultimately all paths converge in, as they say, God, right? Or you could say mukti, realization, whatever. Truth. That's been the traditional line. The paths are different, but they end at the same place. So they converge at the same point. Right? That's the conventional thing. No. That won't work. You have to see that not only is the end point common, even the underlying foundation is just the same. All paths have an underlying oneness. They are fundamentally the same. You must be able to see that there are no two paths. Are you getting it? And then there is freedom. Then there is freedom along the path. And if there is no freedom along the path, how can there be freedom at the end? Why should a jnani be prevented from overflowing with tears, just like a bhakt? Why are you taking away that freedom? And if a bhakt wants to just silently observe and read and understand like a jnani, why are you robbing him of this freedom? Why must there be almost a sectarian code of conduct for the various paths? The jnani has to look like this and behave like this, and the bhakt has to look like that and behave like that and operate in another way. Why do you necessarily need these distinctions, or do you? You are a seeker, and that's all. I have to reach. I have to know. I'll take all paths possible, correct? Why must I be rigid? Why must I be exclusive? You look at Krishna here, an amalgamation of everything. He does impart wisdom to Parth, but he is coming from compassion, mind you. Now tell me, is he a jnani or a premi? I don't know. And if I manage to put my finger on one of these two, that would be injustice to Krishna and ignorance on my part. He is coming from compassion. And he is imparting. What do I call him now? If there is no compassion, would there ever be a Gita? Why does Krishna need to meddle in others' business? He has already done enough, right? Even for the Pandavas. Now this chap is saying, I don't want to fight Arjuna. Krishna should counsel him up to a point and then let him do his own thing. As they say, you must not interfere in others' affairs beyond a point. But look at Krishna. Even before the war begins, Krishna has already fought the war. I have been saying since long that the real battle has been between Krishna and Arjuna. Why would one fight such a tedious war but for compassion? And that's the relationship, mind you, between love and knowledge. You have love for liberation. That's why you want to know your bondages. Let there be no misunderstanding in this, please. So these two are inseparable. And out of these two, what comes first? What comes first? Come on. Love always comes first. Always, always. If you have no love for liberation, and I keep telling you, this is the nature of your bondages. This is Prakriti, this is Maya, this is that. Will that knowledge steer you into action? Will that knowledge steer you into action? So what comes first? Love always comes first. Let's know this. Even as we are recipients of great wisdom, mind you, wisdom is toothless, useless, rather lifeless without love. And those who know the very, very primality of love. And that would be surely reminding you of what Ramana Maharshi used to say, right? Now you know why Mata, because before comes the son, has to be the mother. Now, without love, there can be no understanding because you will not want to understand. Remember, one does not understand the truth ever. What is it that you ever understand? You understand yourself, that's self-knowledge, right? You understand the nature of your bondages. I'm again asking you, if you do not want to be liberated at all, would you have any incentive to learn of your bondages? That's why love comes first. But that love has to be the love for liberation, not love for imagination. And that's where bhakti often goes wrong. They start loving their own imaginations. Sir, you are supposed to love liberation, not your own creation. You start dreaming of something and start worshipping it. Is that bhakti? No, that is not bhakti. That is asakti. Huh? Are you getting it? Are you getting it? Love comes first. But love means love for liberation, not emotional attraction. I create an object in front of me, sensually very attractive. And then I start worshipping it, I fall at its feet. Will that help? And man has done that since millennia. Millennia. We started thinking in a systematic and organized way, they say around 70,000 years back. That's also when we started developing language in a rudimentary way. Because what is language? It's related to organized thought. And it's not since millions of years that we have been thinking. And it's so instructive that as soon as man started thinking, he also started worshipping. You find figures in caves, either drawn or etched. But what is it that man was worshipping? His own thought. As soon as thought came worship, mind you. As soon as man started thinking, he also started. It's obvious what man was worshipping. He was worshipping his, which is all right. Which is all right to begin with. To begin with. Because when you worship, you at least acknowledge that there is something bigger than you. That acknowledgement is there. Let credit be given where it is due. Irrespective of what you worship, there is at least an intent to fall at something's feet. You're prostrating. Right? The head is now bowed. You are saying something is bigger than me. The only problem is, when the worship is very primary, very, very rudimentary, very beginner-like, then you do not realize that the right one to be worshipped is not your imagination, but the one beyond your imagination, because you worship only because you are in sorrow. And the one who is in sorrow is projecting itself as the object of worship. In all your imaginations is the shadow of the ego, or is it not? That's why different people imagine differently, correct? Is that not true? If I ask you to narrate a story, there is nobody here who would not. All of you can come up with stories. And the stories would differ. I give you a topic. The same topic, your stories would differ. Correct? Why would the stories differ? Please tell me. Because you are different. My topic is a great day. And I give the same topic to the grass and to the buffalo, to the lion and to the deer. What is the topic? A great day. Or a great treat. A sumptuous feast. That's the topic. The same topic is given to the grass, to the deer, and to the lion. You know the stories would be very different. Right. So, when we are worshipping a story, we are actually worshipping the storyteller. When you are worshipping something arising for imagination, you are actually worshipping just your own ego. So love has to be pure. That's the problem. The object of your love cannot be something arising out of your own mind. The moment you start worshipping something that is a product of your own thought, that does not liberate you. That simply inflates you. Most people are content with inflation rather than liberation. I'm a great bhakt. I'm a lover. See how much I love. Look at the depth of my devotion. So devotion is wonderful, but you are not a devotee. That's the problem. The problem does not lie with the path of devotion. That's a wonderful path. The problem lies with the fact that you are not a devotee at all. But this you will not understand, you will never acknowledge, because according to you, the path of devotion is totally different from the path of understanding. So how will you understand what I am saying? If your devotion involves no understanding, how will you ever understand what I am saying? And you will keep worshipping your own stories and your own figures and forms and names and all the charming things. You will just keep worshipping them. Doesn't make sense. Are you getting it? So yes, love. Love for liberation. When you love, you have to be very, very careful. What is it I am falling for? What is it I am being compelled towards? Because love is a charm. It's magnetic. Right? After a point, it leaves you helpless. You allow yourself to be pulled. You simply lose it after a point. That's the very definition and the very success of love. It makes you lose yourself. But before you lose yourself, shouldn't you inquire what you are losing yourself to? Please. If you lose yourself to the very devil, convince me, how is it good for you? And what do you mean by the devil? Who is the devil? Your own self is the devil. Who else is the devil in this world? There are no devils outside of you, right? If you lose yourself to your own stories and concepts and greed and whatever is there inside, what have you attained? What have you attained? Please tell me. Now look at Krishna here. He displays how love comes first. First thing is, Arjuna has to be helped. Love is so primary that, hold your breath, even truth can wait. But were you not saying that first of all love has to be for the truth, for liberation? Then how can love be so primary that even truth can wait? Remember, the one being addressed is not yet ready for the truth. Truth to him is a distant thing. Correct? And you are located at that distant thing. As a teacher, where are you? The student is crawling on the earth. And if you are a real teacher, if you are a Krishna, where are you situated? Just by way of an analogy, please. Don't stretch the example too far. Where are you situated? In the skies. Uppermost skies. So truth can wait. The skies can wait, you come down. You come down. Love is so important that you should be able to even keep the truth aside for a while. That's a tightrope walk. That's a very dangerous thing I've just uttered. Because that's also what you do in the crudest kind of emotionality. My mother does not want to hear the truth. So I let her live in lies. Because love comes first and truth can wait. Acharya Ji told us. No. There is a difference, big difference here. The difference is of intent. The intent here is, I will go down to Arjuna, hold him by his arm and pull him up. And Krishna displays it can be done. Krishna is not saying I am quitting my own residence forever. He is saying no, I am on a mission. I am leaving my home just as you leave your home when you proceed on a mission. I am leaving my home to go to the place where Arjuna is. I'll go there, I'll pick him up and I'll bring him to where I am. Whereas when we compromise on truth, we say, you were anyway never at truth. Now I agree to join you. Krishna is not agreeing to join Arjuna. He is going to haul him up and load him on his chariot. Whose chariot? Not Arjuna's chariot, Krishna's chariot. Load him on his chariot and bring him to his own place, Krishna Lok, the place of truth. Whereas when we compromise, we do the exact opposite. Correct? Oh, you will be hurt if I utter the truth to you. So what do? I decide to myself forget the truth so that the two of us can be united. Else the two of us were living in distinct, separate worlds. We could not feel one. So I said, fine. I am giving up on my passport. I will change my nationality. I'll now become a citizen of falseness. Maya Lok. You cannot come to Krishna Lok. No, not cannot. You will not. It's a matter of choice. You will never come to this place. So I decide to join you where you are. Apparently, Krishna is doing much the same thing with Arjuna. But there is a great difference. Never miss that difference. Krishna is a fighter. Though he had vowed not to pick up arms. But he broke his vow. He's supposed to be the mischievous one, right? He never keeps his word. Truth is beyond all words. We think he never picked up weapons on that battlefield. The fact is, before anybody else could pick up any weapons, Krishna did. What else is the Gita? Here is Arjuna giving up on the Gandiv. And what you do not see is that Krishna has already picked up weapons. And he is fighting Arjuna all the time. He is a fighter. He is saying, I'll not let you stay who you are and where you are. You are in the very grip, very throes of Maya. And I love you. And because I love you, I'll snatch you from her. It's a street fight. Please appreciate. It's neither the soft ambience of love, mushy, cuddly, emotional, nor is it the dignified environment of Gyan. This is street fight. People like to ask, is Gita about Samarpan? Or is it about Sangharsh? Because when you talk of the path of knowledge, then there is resistance, right? So they put it in this kind of a binary. They say, is it about the kind of resistance that you witness in scholarly debates, right? Or is it about the kind of emotion that you witness among the traditional kind of devotees? The Gita is beyond these two. There was a day, if we are to believe the stories, when Krishna helped Arjuna kidnap his own sister. And the legend says that Balram got quite angry. Little did Arjuna know at that time that there would be a day when Krishna would kidnap him as well. That's what is happening here. Arjuna is not prepared to leave his place. Krishna is almost forcibly taking him away. That's why he is called Hari. Har. What does Har mean? To take away. Haran. He's taking away Arjuna. And he has come to Arjuna's place. You do not kidnap someone by inviting them to your own place. That would be a very unprofessional kidnapper. Krishna is going to where Arjuna is. And this involves a lot of stealth, a bit of deceit. So Krishna tells Arjuna, see, you would miss out on heaven. Heaven is real, right? Yes, Arjuna, remember chapter 1? What did you just say in the previous act? Heaven is real. But you would miss out on heaven. Because a warrior who refuses to fight loses his entry to the higher portals. Do you see how this is being played? It's like playing a game of chess with your beloved. The one in front of you is someone you deeply love. At the same time, you have to apply all your thought and mind, all your attention to winning the game. It's important you win this game for him, for his own sake. So, the intent is of, come on, love. But the game must be played in wisdom. That's the unity of Gyan and Prem. The intent is of, but the game must be played in wisdom. Getting it? Yield not to unmanliness. Verse number 3. Do not display this unmanly behavior. Right? Why is he being told not to display unmanly behavior? Is that an integral part of Krishna's teaching? Is that what Vedanta teaches you at the core? That you should behave in a manly way? Are the teachings of Vedanta different for men and women? And then why is Krishna uttering such words? It's his manly identity that's being addressed. Man. From where does this man come? How do we know that there is a strong man, a masculine center within Arjuna that needs to be addressed? How do we know? Yes. Because Krishna was listening. That's the mark of the great teacher, the great helper. First of all, he listens. He knows where you are located. How do we know Arjuna has a strong masculine identity? How do we know? He talked of women. And Krishna was listening. Did he utter a word in chapter 1? What was he doing? He was sharpening his weapons. He was taking Arjuna in the crosshairs. Often when armies face each other and one side does not know the exact location of the other side. The other side might be behind a hillock or some other obstacle that makes it difficult to pinpoint their exact location. One of the tactics used is that you let the enemy fire at you. You let them fire at you. Not only with small guns, but with big guns. 165 guns. You let them fire at you for some time, so that by looking at the trajectory of the ammunition, you can kind of estimate where the enemy is located. The shells are following the standard path of the projectile, right? So by looking at the shells and by having sufficient data, you can kind of know where the enemy is located. You don't fire in the beginning. You let the enemy do the talking. That's what. Now you know why Krishna was so silent in chapter 1. He was pinpointing the location, the inner location of Arjuna. He was seeing where Arjuna is coming from. Just as a good army wants to know where the shells are coming from. Where exactly have they placed their guns? I must know. And once I know where their guns are, I can calibrate my own guns and destroy them in one fire. So, Krishna had listened. So concerned about what will happen to the women. No, it's not a concern for the women, it's a concern for the man inside you. The man inside you who wants to own, possess in the name of care and such things. What will happen to the women? No, you're not that concerned about what will happen to the women. You're concerned about what will happen to your ownership of the women. What will happen to your ownership of the women? Fine. So you're a man, I'll hit you there. Yeah, I'll hit you there. Are you getting it? Everything that Arjuna had talked of in chapter 1 will be used by Krishna. And Krishna will attack every bit of Arjuna's argument. Nothing will be left unaddressed, which is unattacked. So from where have you gained such unmanliness, Arjuna? Oh, you are a huge Superman. See how concerned you are about the women. All the women, not just your own woman. You are thinking about all the women of Hastinapur. They'll be widowed, bereaved. What will happen to them? Krishna does not think so much about women. Krishna is hard-hearted. I am Arjuna, the guardian of all the women in the country. Krishna is partial. Probably too rooted in his masculine identity. He has made all the men stand on the two sides and he is making them fight each other. He is not thinking of the women. But I am Arjuna. I have concern for all human beings, men and women. So Krishna says, fine. Now that you have displayed so much of concern, let me address your concerns. From where have you gathered this unmanliness? No. Don't succumb to it, Arjuna. It does not befit you. It does not befit you, this kind of unmanliness. cast off this weakness of mind and arise, O Parantap. What does Parantap mean? The one who scorches the enemies. Any Vedantic truths here? Aham Brahmasmi? Or any other transcendental sutra? Anything you can take away from here as timeless? Anything? No. Mind you, timelessness comes after love. What you are seeing here is not falseness, but love. It's very, very important to distinguish between the two. When you are apparently not at a point of truth, it is not necessarily your surrender to the false. It also could be your devotion to the truth. You love the truth so much that you are prepared to distance yourself from it temporarily for its own sake. It's a queer thing. It contains contradiction within itself. So be very mindful. If you are really at truth, that is a point of liberation, freedom, right? From all falseness and bondage. And when you are free, the one thing you are necessarily free from is yourself. Right? That's the most central freedom, correct? When you are free from yourself, how can you say, freedom must be only for me? So one thing that will necessarily happen with the free one is that he will want freedom for all. Personal freedom to him means nothing, because he is now free from the personal. So how can personal freedom mean a thing to him? Are you getting it? When you really are at the truth, the one thing you cannot bear is being alone at the truth. The funny thing is, at the truth, you know that there is just aloneness, and there is no truth bigger than aloneness. But you also know that there are others who do not know. You very well know that the others who do not know are just figments of myths. But you also know that to them their experience of sorrow is real. At this point, you have to take a decision. You could either say their suffering is just to themselves, and they are unreal, so their suffering is unreal. So I simply turn my back to them. I close my eyes. I discard them as mere imaginations. And if you do that, you are not wrong. And many people do that. It is said, especially in India, when people get realized, they walk away from the society. More often, they walk away from the society to get realized. There has been a long tradition of realized ones not partaking in the society. Why? Because now they know, because they are realized that the society, which is people, is in itself a myth. When the entire world is a myth, how can these people be real? So what's the point in working for them? They are bubbles. You do not work to liberate a bubble. They are characters in dreams. You do not want to help people in dreams. Or do you? So there has been this long tradition. Now that I am realized, I discard the entire world as a dream, as a fancy. No point in trying to help anybody. And if you do that, you are justified. Who can say that you are irresponsible or unloving? It is okay if you do that. And people have done that and they have been respected. If you go to the Himalayas and if you find some old practitioner of yoga residing anonymously in some God-forsaken cave, you will not start accusing him of forsaking his social responsibility, would you? In fact, you would fall at his feet. That's what generally has been happening traditionally. When you find somebody who is a bit of a recluse from the society, spiritually, not like a thief or somebody, you respect him all the more. He has been living anonymously. He has no social identity or obligations. And that makes him worthy of respect. So that is one path, and if you take that path, that is very much okay. But there is another path. The path of Krishna, the path of the avatar, the path of the teacher, the path of the bodhisattva. And those who have taken that path have not just been respected, they have been loved. The ascetic who has given up on the world and is residing peacefully in some cave in the Himalayas deserves a lot of respect, no doubt. But the one who comes down from the Himalayas despite knowing very well that the world is just an illusion is worthy of both respect and love. That's what a Buddha did. That's what an avatar does. The Buddha had no need to return to the villages and the cities and the society from the jungle. There was just no need. And he had spent more than 10 years in his aloofness. He had practically given up on the world. He had been living an isolated life, just meeting some teachers sometimes, some other people just for the sake of knowledge. Otherwise, all his social imprints had been truly lost. He returns. Such a surprising thing. Why does he return to the same place he ran away from? Think of it. That's the bodhisattva ideal. I know that you are suffering just in your stupidity. I also know that you are not really suffering for the sake of sustenance of your ego. You create your own sufferings. Only in your sufferings do you internally survive as the ego. I know all this. That's been the product of my austerity, my meditation, my realization. I know all this now. But there still is something which draws me to you. I fully well know who you are. Still there is something that does not allow me to give up on you. I'm not in dark about your reality. I harbor no illusions. I know the very nature of your mind, your existence. The very fabric of your intent lies threadbare in front of me. Every bit of you I am very familiar with. I know you more deeply than you do. I do not just look at what you show to me. I penetrate right into your core. I see your inners. And what I see is not very likable, not very pleasant. I know everything, yet I cannot give up on you. So I return to you. For no reason really. Is there a reason why Krishna must teach all this to Arjuna? There is no reason. If you go by reasons, there were so many other options available to all those who took the path of love or liberation. And those other options were very reasonable ones. But they refused those reasonable options. The reason was love. Love in the form of compassion. Love that exists to give. That is compassion, nothing else. Love that gives even to the undeserving one. That's compassion. Love that gives without bothering for merit. That is compassion. When you look at the merit of the other one before giving to him, then that is not love. That is just the principle of karma. Right? That is just action and the fruit of action. Correct? You gave me 4 apples. I give you 100 rupees. I have given you what you deserve. Correct? There is no love in this. You are wonderful, so I come close to you. Again, what love is there in this? I am just giving to you what you deserve. Compassion is when you give without looking at the merit of the one who is to receive. Then why is it so that Krishna is giving only to Arjuna? If merit is not to be seen, then Duryodhana tops the list of the undeserving ones. Why should the Gita not be gifted to him? You don't deserve it, but you at least want it. Even if you don't want it, at least you don't resist it. Just this much is needed, not much beyond that. You don't deserve it, that is okay. But if you start resisting the knowledge, what can a Krishna do? What can even a Krishna do? Visualize. What happens? Duryodhana comes running. Across the divide between the two armies, you find Duryodhana running. And he comes to Krishna and says, this is my epiphanic moment. I know what you are delivering to Arjuna. Kindly let me sit at your feet. May I? Would Krishna refuse? He won't. But Krishna cannot chase Duryodhana endlessly. He has already given him enough opportunities. And the opportunity is open to Duryodhana. Come on. Even at this moment, Krishna would not refuse Duryodhana if he comes to him even at this moment. And it's being done, apparently, in full public view. What prevents Duryodhana from coming? Not even Yudhishthira is coming. Nobody is coming. And if there is any element of factuality in the Bhagavad Gita of Ved Vyas, then we know that this was an important conversation. And this conversation was, as we said, in full public sight. Correct? Nobody came. Nobody came. Even Arjuna was prepared to run away. Are you getting it? So from compassion comes real wisdom. Compassion is not about giving the other his due, because nothing is due to the other. The other is patently demeritorious. Deserves nothing really. Would have been so easy for Krishna to give up at any point in the process. Chapter 1 verse 47 could have been the last verse in the Bhagavad Gita. Or you name any other verse. It could have been the last one. Kudos to his patience. He stays put. Nothing is contingent upon the merit of the student. What is being given is so tremendously valuable that it would be an offense to say that the student deserves it due to his merit. The student is not to display his merit. The student just has to display his inclination. So you could say, if you want to, that the inclination is the merit. Just don't run away, that is sufficient. Just don't kill me, that is sufficient. Don't be a Duryodhan, that is sufficient. What was Duryodhan doing when Krishna went as the peace ambassador? He tried to arrest him. Just don't do that, and that is sufficient. Are you getting it? So it is not as if nothing is required from the side of the recipient of the wisdom. But not much is required. If the recipient, we are repeating, is very deserving, then there is no need for compassion. Now you also know why the Bhagavad Gita touched so many hearts. It tugged at so many heartstrings. And not the Ribhu Gita or Ashtavakra Gita. Because there not so much of compassion is needed. Janak is deserving. Therefore Ashtavakra Gita is not so famous. When you are imparting to a deserving student, then there is no need for that greatest thing called love. Are you getting it? The glory is when you give it to someone who does not deserve it and probably does not even want it. Just like Arjuna. Are you getting it? If Krishna were to take on a bigger challenge, and Krishnas keep coming every time, every age, all places. And Krishna himself has said, I have been coming repeatedly since centuries. So obviously the one we find in Mahabharata is not the last Krishna. So if Krishna were to come again and accept a bigger challenge, what would that be in this age? It would be to disseminate the Gita to Duryodhan. He would say Arjuna was all right. Arjuna was all right. At least he was willing to listen. So that was a soft challenge. Now let me take up the harder one. How about bringing the Gita to the 100 Kauravas who are not only unwilling but also actively resistant? And that would be a totally different quality of a discourse. It would be very difficult to find Vedantic truths there, superficially, verbally. You'll need to have great insight to see what is really going on. Are you getting it? It's all quite confusing, is it not? A lot of times we have talked about the eligibility of the student. We have talked about sadhan chatushtaya. Even Krishna says at the fag end, do not reveal the Gita to the faithless ones, O Arjuna. And here we are saying that the job of love is to bring it to even those who not only don't deserve it, but also don't want it. That's the thing. Love defies all the criteria set by wisdom. So Acharya Shankar in his wisdom told us the marks of the deserving student. But then when you are overwhelmed by love, you say, come on. It's okay. Come. Come. So that's an old story. Probably a Sufi one, if I recall correctly. So there was this Sufi ascetic, mystic, a very renowned scholar in his town. And he was known for being very strict in terms of admission criteria. He would not accept students easily. Probably it is said that he never accepted any student all his life. The terms that he would put would be so off-putting that the students would run away. The eligibility criteria were very, very narrow, very strict. So nobody was allowed to be a student. And then, when he was to die, I don't quite remember, not that sharp with memory. It is said that he had this tube-light movement, epiphanic movement. And he said, fine, come as you are. I think that's the title of the story, I think, come as you are. He said, come as you are. And it is probably that he went running to the town square. And generally, people of merit are not found roaming at town squares. They are busy with their work, professions, occupations and other things. So one drunkard was roaming and he said, you come. I will initiate you into wisdom. And probably it was late in the night, so one thief was running away from the police and he said, you come, you too will be initiated. So all kinds of wretched fellows he gathered and he said, you come. Come as you are. Could somebody find out that story? It's an Idris Shah story. So that's what happens. Wisdom loses its stiffness as it ripens. It becomes soft. It starts gaining the marks of love. It starts relaxing its criteria. Can't find? Come as you are. Come, yet again come. Even if you are a sinner, even if you have broken your vows 1,000 times, come, yet again come. That was his declaration. Doesn't matter who you are, even if you have broken your vows 1,000 times, come. That's the mark of the ripening of the teacher. Teacher is now prepared to admit everybody. Even if you have broken your vows 1,000 times, search by this.
This quotation is attributed to Jalaluddin Rumi.
Come as you are, many.
Come, whoever you are. Wanderer, worshipper, lover of living. It doesn't matter. Ours is not a caravan of despair. Come, even if you have broken your vows 1,000 times.
There's Rumi.
This is Rumi.
No, that one was not Rumi. That was some other Sufi saint.
The story you narrated. The story you narrated before that. Actually said this pupils to go outside. Bring anyone.
Acha, okay.
He didn't go himself. He said that.
Okay. Anyway, it would be a good exercise to find that one out and read. It's a very, very, for want of a better word, sweet story.
Namaskar, Acharya Ji. Coincidentally, I came across a statement by Socrates in the afternoon, which is, as per my understanding, is linked with what we are discussing right now. It touched my heart. He says, those who are hardest to love need it the most.
Right. The kind of disciples Socrates was gathering were probably not the wisest minds in Greece. De facto, they got him killed. They indulged in all kinds of stupidities and childish behavior and got the authorities so very angry against Socrates that he had to pay the ultimate price. So probably he lived what he preached. Just download the Acharya Prashant app, and there you go to the community section, and you have live testimonials streaming in at the rate of 1 every 5 minutes. I'm seeing lives change in thousands, if not millions, every day in front of my own eyes. We are doing it.
Right.
We have actually done it.
Join the community of more than 2 lakh participants on the Acharya Prashant app. Your first month is completely free. You'll get full access to Gita Mission. On the app, you will get regular live sessions, daily exclusive conversations with Acharya Prashant, access to the vibrant Gita community, wisdom exams, curated news, audiobooks, quotes, and much more. Search Acharya Prashant on Google Play Store or Apple App Store and download now.